Okay, welcome to this little sort of showcase video of our VR project called Apothecary. In this little video I'm going to show you around the area that we designed, as well as a bit of background information on the surrounding area, as well as the original white box that we made for the layout of this building. I'd like to just show the main sort of stage for where the player is. So obviously I don't have VR at home, so I can't really jump in and record that sort of video, but I'll give you the best I can using the mouse and keyboard technique. As you can see, this is the counter of where the player stands. The player stands right in here on that red dot and can freely move around in that space. These potions are picked up and used in VR, put into this, and it will mix the colours together to create a potion. Obviously all these shelves are going to be filled. The way that we're going to sort of have players know what they need to make is through a book. We aren't 100% on the system yet, but the general idea is a book with recipes in, so that it'll show, probably the simplest way of putting it would be to show a shape of a bottle and a colour. I feel like that would be better than putting labels on things. It makes it a bit more interesting as well. But basically, if I pick up that yellow and I pour some of it in there, and I pick up that red and I pour some of it in there, it'll fill up this procedurally with whatever you're putting in, and it will merge the colours together and it'll come out orange. So the systems pretty much work for the pouring and the colouring, though these do need to be fiddled a little bit. You can also, because we have a small area under here where we're going to put some more stuff down at the bottom, and if you're crouching down in VR, it's quite a dark area. Basically, you can pick up this, it's a real-time light, so you can just pick it up as if it's like a sort of little candle. You can hold it down here and it'll light up this area for you. Very handy. So this area, when I created it, I wanted it to feel sort of homely. Like, obviously, it's an old shop, it's in a very small place. I sort of took a bit of inspiration from like Skyrim and that sort of fantasy genre, because I mean it just feels magical and warm in here. I intended to put lots of stuff around, because if it's a wizard's shop, if it's a shop of a magical person, they're obviously going to have stuff that you can't really comprehend in there. All of these walls, all the walls and the roof and the floor were created by me. I modelled each of them. I also modelled and textured these buildings outside, as you can see through this window, which I got working. If you look through here, you can see outside there's some buildings, lamps, you'll see these fellas going past. I'll show you how they work in a minute. We have it sort of demoed at the minute, so someone will walk in through this door. That's not the final door. Someone walks in through here, comes up, will ask using a dialogue system if they for like a potion that they want made. The player will make the potion. We'll need some code to check on the actual potion's content, to see what colour it makes. If it makes the correct colour that the person that's come in wants, that will be a positive reaction and they'll be happy with it and walk away. Money and reputation, currently thinking, maybe to upgrade stuff later on. We're also thinking about little storylines for like a few characters that come in, so you'll see them sort of progress as you go along, so they'll sort of grow. Like their character will grow. Okay, so now we are going to head outside. So we're going to go out of the door, just sneak through that. And this is the street. This does look a little strange. It's the way I've got it to work. I fiddled around a bit. Managed to make it work so that you can see through. It still has a bit of tint from the window, sort of like a pattern on the window. But to make sure that the light could come through, I decided if I just got rid of the faces on this side of the window, that light would come through, which seems to have worked pretty well, so I'm happy with that. Anyway, so if we have a look, these buildings obviously aren't the highest resolution because you're not going to be up against it. You're going to be right over here and you're in VR, so you're not going to really see. But you are going to see from where that window is. So I created these ones, not so much because you're not really going to see these, but I put them in just in case. But I made this sort of street. I modelled it sort of. I want it to feel like the shambles. I went and had a look at them when designing this area. So sort of like the overhanging roofs. Like I know it has been said that these buildings do look like loaves of bread. They do, but I feel like it gives a nice desired effect. They're a bit strange. They're not exactly our world. You know what I mean? They're not sort of like a standard building that you'd get in our world. It's more of a fantasy sort of building anyway, so that's what I like. I like the feeling of down here. Obviously, you're not going to walk down here, but it's just when you're looking out the window and you can see, you know, the people going about, you can hear them. So basically, the way that I've done these is literally just animated them in a loop. Pretty much next up to show you is the original white box for the shop level. So like I said, I built these walls and floors and roof in Maya, and then I textured them using 3D coat, just like these buildings. But this is the original white box that we created to test the sort of sizes of everything and that sort of thing, how everything would look in proportion with each other. So like we can go inside. So this is roughly the same size as the shelves that are in the actual shop just over there. What I did is I kept this in its original place over there where the shop is now, and then pretty much built the walls around it to keep it as tight as possible. But as you can see, we changed it a bit with like moving the walls slightly out so that it gives it more of a shop feeling rather than this sort of closed in segments where you can't see to the sides and stuff. So I thought it'd be an interesting idea to, instead of just having this as cut off so that you could see that there is stuff on the walls and such like that, and I made sure to give it a bit of clutter around here and stuff to make it look a bit more lived in, because you know, we didn't want it to be just an empty experience on the sort of book. That's how we're going to do the UI, because I feel like in VR you can't really get a proper menu going. You can get the sort of hovering thing. So like a way we could do it is, because of the whole magical theme, we could have like some magic, you know, come up here and you'd be able to select stuff there. But I feel like it would be better if you sort of click on this, and then if you press that, like a large tome will open here and you can have a look through the pages. I feel like that would work a lot easier. I've hidden him at the minute, but we have a fella that we've currently got in that's like sort of a test. These were just like size tests, by the way. These will get moved eventually. But we had a fella whose animation test is just to walk in through this door, stand here, and then walk back out, and then walk past the window this way. We had the idea of if some characters that come in are actually going to be like ones that reoccur. So they'll be like the Goblin King or something, and he comes in, looks different to everyone else, has a sort of custom appearance rather than the standard generic people, and then we'll ask for like specific stuff, and then the story of that character slowly gets sort of unveiled as you play the game, sort of more through sort of visual storytelling with like what he's wearing, or you know, what he sort of effect his like behaviour is giving off, basically, rather than telling you outright. And then eventually maybe even upgrades to the shop, but you know, it's still early days for that sort of thing. For sort of like half a year, if that really. So many months of work. I think we've done quite well so far. There's still a ways to go though.